Ignore your instincts at your own perish. Okay, I'm not trying to be fear-mongering or anything, but there's a reason why your inner voice is speaking. It knows the way. You know the way already. It's getting that monkey mind. It's getting that societal programming. It's getting that 3D programming out of the way so that you can hear that inner voice. That's why you're here. So let me grab my handy dandy notebook. You guys know I like to channel and write it down before I begin. And the message that came through today was listening to your inner voice. Okay. Um, if I want you guys to leave here with anything, I want you guys to be able to trust your own inner voice stronger than any other voice in your life. Okay. Your inner voice already has the knowledge and wisdom and intelligence within. See, the reason why it's so important for us to upgrade our vibration and to ascend to higher dimensions and higher levels of consciousness is because within the consciousness, the vibrational consciousness that we're at, it's hard for higher vibrational information to get all the way through, and even when it does, it's not as crystal clear. When we are at a higher, more expansive state of consciousness and we're out of survival mode and we're in that creative vibration, then we are more open and receptive to receiving higher vibrational information because we're expanded. Also, the higher vibrational information doesn't have to fall down as far to meet us there, right? It's like a quicker meetup. So whilst we're here, we're really focusing on, just taking out, like shoveling out all the stuff that no longer resonates with where we're going and who we are. And we are totally immersing ourselves in the upgrades that are available to us that Creator, God, Source, Universe has wanted us to receive at this time. Okay? And so listening to your inner voice. So there's a few aspects of this, okay? So I want to go over the reasons why you can't hear it if you struggle with that. I want to go over with how to fix that, and then just dive deeper a little bit into some truths, okay? So there's reasons why, people don't hear their inner voice. And actually, I would argue that everybody really does hear their inner voice. It's more so whether they trust it or not, whether they believe it or not, right? How often they doubt it. Okay. So when you don't trust your um your inner voice, that means that either maybe when one time you maybe got cut down, or you got a mistake, or a mistake happened, or a perceived mistake, right? That maybe you thought you were listening to your gut instinct, or maybe you thought you were listening to that inner voice, but it was actually more coming from a space of fear or from a non-healthy place, and then you kind of got slapped on the hand or got consequences because of it. But really, when you don't trust your inner voice, it's because you don't have a deep trust of self. You don't have a deep trust of self. And a lack of a trust of self comes from honestly not following through on your word to yourself. So you've left yourself hanging multiple times, like even on the small things when you say, oh, I will, let's see, I'll brush my teeth in the morning, or I'll take that shower tomorrow, or oh, I'll start that diet tomorrow, or I said I was going to go out and treat myself, but I really don't want to. I'd rather stay at home. I have this belief that easy choices make a hard life, and hard choices make an easy life. And self-discipline is the ultimate act of self-love, because even when you don't want to do something, either because you're afraid, or because it gets boring, or because you're not sure if it's worth your time or investment, but you know in your gut that it's something that you should do, and at the end of the day, you lay your head down and you're like, whether you consciously address it or not, You know in your knowing whether you showed up for yourself today. And so the reason why you wouldn't trust your inner voice is because you don't trust yourself. And I'm going to talk about how to build that in just a second. And also doubting it, right? That comes naturally, especially in the beginning. It comes naturally when you've put too much stake in other people's opinions. It comes naturally when maybe you have first just awakened and you're looking for, answers, context, reasons, answers. I think I already said that. But it's normal to doubt it. It's normal to doubt it. Eventually, it does get to a point where you know undoubtedly that it is the place to move forward, that you can feel the difference between your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and intuition. But I'm hearing to just essentially validate you that it's okay to doubt it sometimes, but there's nothing to doubt. And if you're in a space of chaos, if you're in a space of franticness, if you're in a space of, oh, holding on and I have to find the answer, what is the answer? Your chaotic thoughts are going to be so overwhelming that you will not be able to hear that inner voice. So be mindful of that. And then another reason why you can't hear it is because you've relied too much on other people or external sources to validate you, to get the answers, to show you the way. Truthfully, I'm just here to help guide you into your light. I'm just here to help you, walk the path. But truthfully, only you really know what's best for you. Only you really know what's in alignment with your highest and best self. And if your dense, 3D self is getting in the way, that's what I'm here to help you with. But when you activate that light within you, and that's where you're making your decisions from, your beacon of light and your future, that's when you really can step in and listen to that inner voice. And that inner voice is the loudest thing that you hear. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about how to fix those things. Okay. So you have to, if you don't trust yourself, you have to build trust again. And a great way to do that is to build confidence, right? And the best way to build confidence is to keep those commitments that you make to yourself. And guys, it really is the small things, because the way that you do the small things is the way that you do everything. I know that there are times when I don't want to take care of the dishes, but I know that today's bargain is tomorrow's pain, right? And so if you're the best way to build confidence that I have found in my line of work, in listening to, tons of psychologists and tons of successful people, studying successful people, is that confidence isn't built when like wishing for it. Confidence isn't built by staying in your comfort zone. Confidence is built when you stretch just beyond what you is comfortable and doing it anyway. And like whether you succeed in it or not, you went out there, you stretched and you overcame it and you made something happen. Okay, again, the outcome is irrelevant. It is the act of following through on your word. It is following through on your commitments. It is following through on taking care of yourself. Okay, so in order for you to build self-confidence, you're going to have to do the things that scare you a little bit or are just outside of your comfort zone, because that gives the space, the room, the opportunity for confidence to be built. Okay, I mean, think about it. Think about, I've never been zip lining, but could you imagine when you're up there at the highest point with only this little harness and string to hold you? You're afraid. You're scared. Some are pumped, but we're talking in hypotheticals here, right? When you're up there, you're afraid, you're scared, but then when you go off and you jump off, you exit that comfort zone. And then when you go all the way down and you accomplish it, you feel good about yourself. That's what we're talking about here. doing things outside of that subconscious framework, doing things that push the needle, push the edge just a little bit so that you can really step into that light, so that you can really step into your expansiveness. Because, guys, what's the only way to expand? You got to expand. You got to push through those walls. You got to push through those limitations. You got to push through those comfort zones. That's how you expand. And that's how you build confidence. Now, also act on gut instinct. Act on gut instinct. I know that I have acted on gut instinct before when it made no logical sense at all. At all. But on the end of that, I got rewarded. And there's this quote from Star Wars in Clone Wars, and it says, ignore your instincts at your own perish. I remember that. It was a very pivotal moment for me in my life. Ignore your instincts at your own perish. Okay, I'm not trying to be fear-mongering or anything, but there's a reason why your inner voice is speaking. It knows the way. You know the way already. It's getting that monkey mind. It's getting that societal programming. It's getting that 3D programming out of the way so that you can hear that inner voice. That's why you're here. Okay? And the next way so make sure to act on gut instinct. Okay? Now, the last way to fix that is self-love. It's self-love. But what happens when you don't have self-love? Okay? The first thing that you need to have is self-acceptance. You cannot love yourself if you do not accept yourself. And I heard an amazing quote about self-love today, actually. And it says, if you're not being yourself, you can't love yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, you can't love yourself. So what does that mean? That means you have to be in your full authenticity. Good, bad, and ugly, right? You have to be in your full authenticity. You have to believe in yourself and believe in who you are. Believe in what you stand for. And don't get me wrong, you will get challenged in this along the way. You will get challenged in what your beliefs are, what your identity is, what you stand for. And the best way that I always get brought back to who I am and what I'm meant to do is my why. The vision, the goal, the dream that God put on my heart to be here for all of you guys. To help you step into your divinity, to raise the vibration of the human consciousness. Okay? So you must accept yourself as you are. And a lot of times with that self-acceptance comes self-forgiveness. You do have to forgive yourself for certain things. You didn't know. Hindsight is 2020. Okay, you didn't know. You were doing the best that you could with the resources that you had, with the knowledge that you had. Okay, let it go. So to fix that is to build your self-confidence by stepping outside of your comfort zone and following through on your commitments to yourself. Act on gut instinct. Act on gut instinct. You know, strengthen that voice. It's a muscle. And if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Totally cliche, but there's a reason why it's a cliche. And then self-love and self-acceptance, okay? Now, your inner voice is the purest form of intelligence. And here's why. It's because it's your higher self, and it's because it is through the ethereal connection to Creator. It's the ethereal connection to Creator, to true source, to God. And so your inner voice is the purest form of intelligence. And you have to go out there and find your truth. Okay? The search for the truth can be both fun and daunting. You got to search for your truth. What is it that resonates with you? What is your truth about reality? What is your truth about love? What is your truth about being on your divine timeline? What is your truth about your healing gifts, skills, and abilities? What is your truth? What does it mean? What are the rules? Because here's the thing, guys. Human perception is so frail. It's so frail. Really think about it. You can have strong beliefs and you can have strong convictions. And yeah, I want you to, because I want you to be in the embodiment of your power, right? That's what creation wants for you. But based on different information that's being presented, I mean, literally, just one thing has to happen in your life and it changes everything, right? Just one thing, one piece of information comes in, or you're shown something about somebody, you're shown something about a situation, and it changes everything. Changes everything. So, my point in saying this is that in order for your beliefs, your perceptions to not be fragile or frail, you have to find your truth. And your truth is connected to your passions. Your truth is connected to your why. Your truth is connected to your dreams. That's why it's so important to pursue your soul's mission and purpose. Because it is the bloodline. It is the fuel in the vehicle. It is the food that you eat and consume. Your soul's purpose and mission is everything. It's everything. Your why is everything. Okay? So if you take anything from this conversation today, listen to that inner voice. It is there for a reason. It is the purest form of intelligence. And honestly, you know best. It's just a matter of sifting through and getting all of the old junk out of the way and trusting yourself. You're worth trusting.